everybody, it's not quite 9 a.m. yet. I've been going kind of slow at this, and again, I do have to get every wheelbarrow full in order to pack this up around here. So I'll just kind of show you how this is looking like. It's got like an earth mound over here. As I get more sod clumps, I am eventually probably going to put some sort of board over this so that it will be part of the ramp. I might look for that soon, but I want to keep access to that hole because that's where I'm going to put my my valve for draining, for gravity draining the pond. And I'm going to want to be able to still reach through there real easy because the spigot valve is going to be back in here, kind of right underneath this block. So I was probably just going to get a board as part of the ramp right there that can be removed easily or something. I'm repeating myself because I'm exhausted. But the ramp, I don't want to really cut into this area because like if I do have my car parked, I kind of park my car all over the place. So I don't want to have to walk around the ramp, if that makes sense, depending on where my car is or just in general. So the ramp is going to get built down, kind of down through here. And it's just going to go to like here or so. And I have some ramping built up on the inside, but it does still have like some ledges, so I'm not sure. There's going to be some areas where I build it all the way up to those, and some where there's just going to be like a stepping ledge, I think. You know, like this area, I'm going to build the ramp all the way up. A couple other areas, I'm going to just build a smooth ramp, because the thing is I am going to be adding rocks and stuff to this, so I can also do some ramping above the pond liner. I don't want to have to count on too much of that though. So we'll see. I'm going to go ahead after I'm satisfied with my inner ramping and everything. I'm going to go ahead and put some 5.8 ounce landscape fabric down in here just to give my pond liner some extra protection, since this is supposed to be kind of like a permanent installation. You know, that's why I also had to move my blocks out, because the mounding on the inside was going to take up some space, and I was just going to end up with a tiny pond. Otherwise, that wasn't really going to necessarily serve my flock as well as I would have liked it to as my flock expands. Because even though I'm starting with 34 birds, you know, part of the whole point is to expand, to provision my own meat and meat for my neighbors, and birds for people and things like that to buy, because this is supposed to be kind of like a business investment. So we'll see how it goes. Now, the pond does slope downward away from the house, and I did not do any digging because I want that slope to remain in case any sort of leak happens in the pond liner. So we'll see how it goes. I just have to be careful with it, and hopefully it does well. But again, I did get a kind of inexpensive one, so I don't know how well it'll work. Now, obviously, a kiddie pool would have been much faster. It would have also degraded after some time, maybe even just a couple years from being exposed to the sun, being out in the sun. And I guess I could have put it in the shade. But, you know, again, so even from the road here, they're going to be able to see the birds in my pond. And so even when the birds aren't done over here, it is going to be roadside advertisement. And I am posting a lot of pond updates because I want you guys to get an idea of like, yeah, well, sure, this does take a long time, especially because I'm going slow, you know, and I'm just one person. It takes a long time, and it's hard work. But, you know, if you have a small property, you can do things like this yourself. You don't have to pay tons of money to somebody. You just want to think some things through ahead of time. Now, if I would have wanted to make this pond just 3 foot deep, I mean, anything over 2 foot deep, okay, when I'm done with it, the cost would have just multiplied very many numerous times over to get somebody to draw up the plans, to try to get a permit, all that stuff. So you also have to know the codes of your area. But again, just having an above ground pool was going to cost me, because I thought about just popping up an above ground pool and then building a ramp for my birds to swim in. And even that I was going to have to get a permit for. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm super excited. You know, I'm not going to get the pond liner for this for a while, but I do want to finish digging it out, because what is going to happen is, like, let's say I end up not finishing this pond for a really long time, all this area is going to get repopulated with sod, and I'm not going to be able to grade it the way I would have liked to as easily without possibly having to pop out that sod again. So it's going to take a lot more work. I'm not sure how much of this is actually going to get the pond liner, if that makes sense, because again, I might have some of it be kind of naturalized edging. But I am going to try to go ahead and go, it is going to be a little bit shy of 2 foot deep, and we're going to see how it goes. I haven't finished digging that out yet, because even though you can tell I'm going to have to do more digging, because I do want this area to hold some water. So I don't want the outlet to be lower than everything else. So I just have to wait, and that may actually not get dug out until this is like totally full of water and finished, and I can see how much I need to take out to have just a small trickle. Because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to keep just a small trickle of water coming through the upper watering hole pond and this lower pond all winter, so that it doesn't freeze. I'm going to try to check and see how much water does that take. I'm going to put it on a different pump from my house, and I'm just going to try to have it be a constant trickle. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go get some coffee because I'm exhausted and I need some energy.